Hi. So today I am talking about body. So this is the third video in my Mind, Body, Spirit series, and today I want to talk to you about bodies. And I have this ability where I can see inside people's bodies. It's pretty amazing. And when I do that, it's because the person's soul has allowed me to see that physical energy in and around their body. So if I'm talking to someone, if they permit me, right, on a psychic level, their higher self trusts me that I'm not going to harm them, and they allow me to see what's good or not so good inside their body. So I'll give you an example. Yesterday I went into the health food store, and I'm giving a talk there Friday night called An Evening of Spirit, where I'm channeling messages for the people who attend. And I just went in there to hand in my paperwork, and the lady who works, one of the people who works in the health food store, she's been on this huge weight release program, and it's phenomenal. Seriously, she's lost half of herself, like gone. And the last time I talked to her there, I said, oh, your liver needs a little help. So I was able to channel the information for her, what she could do to clean her liver, because when you have a fatty liver, your body actually can't, or your liver can't process the fat that's going in your body, and also the fat that's stored in your body, because it's actually your liver's job to process fats. And I'll talk about fats a little bit, because fats have gotten a bad rap. If you have gone to my website and you've looked at the recommended books I tell people to read, and I tell you what's so good about them, there's a book called Genius Foods, and that book gives you a guideline on what your body needs, and especially your brain. So if you're starving your body of fats, you're denying fats for your body and your brain health will suffer. And that's what happened when I spoke to the woman yesterday. And she said, oh, I kind of have the shakes. And immediately I got the message for her that her body needed healthy fats. So I took her in the store, and we muscle tested for which healthy fats her body would accept, which means that her body can use it, okay? So if your body muscle tests a yes for certain foods, it means your body can utilize the energy in that food. If your body tests no, it means that you might as well be eating a cardboard box, because your body will not be able to use those foods. So I teach people full body muscle testing, and I might do it on here today. Yes, I will. Yeah, I will lead you through that, but not right now. So her body tested yes for grass-fed butter, and the reason you would eat or take in grass-fed butter is that it contains CLA. So CLA is conjugated linoleic acid that your body can use as a healthy fat. And so if you're not sure if your body can use it or not, you just muscle test it, and I'll show you how to do that in a bit. So she tested yes for that, and then she tested yes for another omega, I think it was omega 369 oil, and I told her also to go test for coconut oil in its original form, and then MCT oil, which is mono chain triglyceride oil. It's modified coconut oil. So because it's been modified, it may or may not agree with the energy of her body. So then I got the message too that her body was vitamin B12 deficient. So I took her over to the nutritional yeast, and we muscle tested to see which yeast would agree with her. She took one of the containers of yeast off the shelf and said, oh, my husband takes this. So I said, well, let's muscle test for that, and it tested a no for her. Then we picked up a bag of Engevita yeast, and her body tested yes. So everybody's body's different, and we all have fed our bodies different things. So our bodies are in different states through different times of our lives. And if we want to tweak our health and we want to look good and healthy and radiant, we have to find what foods suit our bodies. And one of the best ways to do it is muscle testing. I've worked with people who actually have difficulty with muscle testing. So I get them to ground first. I get them to close their eyes. We ground, then we do full body muscle testing. So I can see, so I'm a psychic medium, right? So psychic means you have the ability to see or sense energies. That's it. So energies could be of someone who's stuck here on this planet, that's a ghost, or energies of spirit. So those are like guides, angels, you know, the source, anything like that that has actually crossed over and has the energy comes back. So when I look inside people's bodies, I can see the energy, what's going on inside their bodies. For example, you know, if I'm working with you, and you trust me, right? We have good rapport energetically. You will allow me to see what's going on inside with your internal organs. So on a lot of people, I see an unhealthy liver. I see an unhealthy liver, and so it looks dark, it looks black. And that means that when I see black energy inside someone's body, it means in that area there's an energy block. So the energy is congested and it's not moving. Like, you know, when something is cold, right? It's like dense, like say an ice cube. And then when you melt it, it like spreads out. And then when you heat it, we're talking about water, it actually, you can see the energy, you can see it boiling, right? So the molecules get further and further apart. Well, the same thing happened with our organs. If they're healthy, the molecules are moving nice and they're moving around, okay? So they're energetic, they have good energy. If they're not, and it's like half good and half bad, I'll see that the organs are gray or organ. And if it's got some real problems, I'll see it as like a black energy, like just, it looks just, to me it just looks like a big black blob, and my mind tells me liver, kidneys, heart, lungs, whatever. So how do I do this? Well, like I said, I'm psychic, so I can see things, that I see energy. And for me, because I see it so well, I can see it with my eyes open. Like some people might have to close their eyes. I don't have to. It's like my brain functions on the physical level where I see physical energies, right? Like this tree here, or these bells. I got to go in my fairy garden today. So these bells, okay, physical, but energetic. I can, if there was the energy of bells ringing, and they weren't really ringing, I could hear that. Oh, and that noise in the background, as soon as I started my video, a crow started flying. Oh, I heard a raven started flying around in my yard, and it's talking. It's like, yay, you're doing this, because that raven said it likes to eat garbage, and it says its heart is suffering. And I can see, like, this was interesting because when I started talking about organs and how I can see white light or gray if it's in distress, or dark, I saw the heart of someone was dark, and I thought, well, I don't think that's mine, because I've been doing a lot of heart work lately, hand over my heart, but it's that raven that's yelling over there, and it said it ate some toxic substance that had like a pesticide in it, so it's in distress. So what I do is I'll just send it to energy healing. I can do that while I talk. I just make like an energy ball and I'll hold it down here. You won't see it, but maybe it'll stop being distressed while we're doing this. I like though that it told me it was distressed, because I'm able to help it. And as soon as I make this energy ball, I can feel the heart of that raven is drawing it. Ooh. And it flew right through my yard and made quite a production, just announcing its presence and asking for help now that I realize it. So see, I'm multitasking. I can do this and talk to you at the same time. Oh, and there's one of my cats in the background. I think it's Stripe. They always join, and Tommy's on the ground over there. So talking to people about energy, and a lot of times when people are grieving, I'll see that they have stuck energy in their heart or their lungs, because if your lungs are congested, that means that you have grief. I heard go back and work on that raven. So still doing that. So we also as people know when something's not right. So you kind of have this feeling, and this is how illness starts, okay? So I talked about our aura, and it's about to the fingertips. And if you do lots of energy work, or you're a light worker or energy worker, yours will probably be larger if you get a lot of work done on you, or you work on yourself, okay? So you understand that you have to keep your energy field nice and clean, especially if you're working on people. Because if you tend not to take care of yourself, you won't be as effective as a healer, and you'll get run down and you won't feel very good. So your energy field is about out to there. So when illness starts, it starts out here, like fingertips, and it's like, oh, think there's something wrong. Like I feel kind of tired. I don't know. I'm not feeling very good. And then you don't listen, and then it moves to here, and then it moves to here. And you just don't have time to take care of your health. So guess what? It moves into here. So this starts way out here. It's energy that something's not quite right. Now, what could cause that? You could be living in a toxic building. I lived in a home that had black mold, and as I was moving, you'd have seen my nose. The bridge of my nose was twice the size of what it normally is. But when I got an hour away from that home, it cleared up. I did have to take decongestants, which I never take, but so I could actually breathe because I was so congested. But I was also grieving at the same time, so it was a double whammy. What I realized that environment was toxic. But you see, I thought it was the grief that I was going through, and I also thought that I had like something like chronic fatigue or something like that. But that area had so much humidity, and the underneath of that dwelling had it was like open dirt. And so when it thawed in the spring, the mold became active, and I got really sick in the spring, and I was just sick. But when I moved away from there, my health improved. So it could be your environment that's causing an illness. And I talked to a lady in the local co-op store, it was a hardware store. I talked to her about black mold, and I don't even know how this conversation started, but she said in the province of Manitoba, they have very strict regulations, and they do detect black mold, and they'll go in and they'll clean up the mold in the building because it happened to her. And so we had a big talk about how people aren't aware of how harmful black mold is for our health, lungs, right? It's almost like we take in those mold spores and they like take up residence in our lungs. And yes, sometimes it could be other lives that cause that because you're drawing that energy in to heal that aspect of yourselves. And as I talked about in my last video and this one, I realized that there's probably maybe there's past life energy that I need to release, and maybe it's karmic as well, because if it's karma, it means that I had something to do with buildings that had black mold and I chose not to do, which is unethical, and that's why it could come back as karma. So it's karma happens whenever you have been not a very good person and you didn't do what you're supposed to do. So that issue comes into your next life, which you're living now, and you can figure out how to clear it, right? With a past life regression hypnotherapy session, you could do it in a meditation, you could have some energy work done on you. There's like different ways to deal with karma. So now, I feel like I want to teach you muscle testing. So I'm going to talk you through this, and I want you to be standing. So stand, and it doesn't matter what direction you face. You can face north, east, south, or west. Doesn't matter. Okay, now I have another bird that joined, and it's that one that usually is crying at the beginning of my videos. So I love doing my videos outside because how beautiful is this, hey? It's like, I don't even know what kind of bird that is. So the bird's it's a singing bird. So if you're watching this video and you don't know that I'm an animal communicator, well, hello, I am. And I have Mr. Tommy over here. I love to put him on the camera. Do you want to be on camera? Yeah. Tommy, I'll grab him. Oh, come here, dude. Oh, there. I asked Tommy if he wanted to have an Instagram channel, and he said not yet, but he's so healthy and he does not like to be held. But I like to show off my critters. All right, so muscle testing. So you're standing facing any direction that you want, and feet are flat on the floor, and I'd like you to close your eyes. Take a big breath in, and another breath in. And as you release, I want you to imagine that you're releasing your breath out the bottoms of your feet. In the last video I talked about a grounding cord, but I'll walk you through that again. I want you to imagine that from your bottoms of your feet you have roots growing, and it's like you're a tree. And from the bottom of your feet, the roots are growing through, if you're in a building, through the floor and down into the basement and into the foundation of the building you're in, or if you're outside, just through the grass and into the dirt. So, and down into the soil, through the layers of sediment, into the layers of bedrock, and down, down, down to the core of the earth. And from that center of the earth, you're going to just bring it back up. You're going to bring it back up, up. From the center of the earth, up to the layers of bedrock, through the layers of sediment and the soil, then up into the foundation of whatever building you're in, through the floor, back up to the bottom of your feet, up through your ankles, your knees, through your hip area, then up through your root chakra, solar plexus, which is just below your belly button, and then right into the center, into the solar plexus. If you like, you can bring it up into your heart center, or you can leave it in the solar plexus. So we have a grounding cord. Now I want you to say, either in your mind or out loud, I want you to say this to your body: show me a yes. So your body should do something. You'll feel a sensation, or your body will move in a certain way. So that's your yes. Now, if it didn't happen, and maybe you're too ungrounded or excited, the first time I learned muscle testing, it didn't work. I was too ungrounded. So if it didn't work for you, I want you to keep practicing until it actually works and you get a sensation. So now, with your eyes closed, I want you to, and you're still standing, I want you to tell your body, show me a no. And so your body should do something. And once you've established what your no is, then I want you to say to your body, show me a maybe. So once you've established what a no, a yes, and a maybe is, go in your house. You can do this later, you don't have to do this right now. You can stop the video too if you're just watching. Yeah. So you take some food, and you take a package of food, or you can take the food, like say it's an apple, you hold it in your hands and you say out loud or in your mind, is it in my best interest to eat this apple? And your body will tell you yes or no, or a maybe. So if it's a yes, it means that it agrees with your body, and your body can take it in and use it the best that it can. If you get a no, then there's something that your body is not able to take in of that fruit. Maybe your body doesn't like that kind of apple. Maybe it doesn't like that it hasn't been washed, or it has pesticides, or has been grown with pesticides, because lots of people say, oh, just peel it and it's okay. But if you think about it, if food has been grown in an environment where there's continually pesticides being sprayed, it doesn't just stay on the outside of the fruit. It actually becomes part of that cellular energy of that apple. Okay, so it's like it's inherent. It just has that. So you can do this with any kind of food. Now, if you have food that's in a bag, you don't want to say, you want to say, is it in my best interest to eat some of this, whatever it is, in the bag? And then you can actually go right to muscle test for how much. So you'd say, is it in my best interest to have 1 tablespoon of this? Like yesterday, or the day before, I bought Angevita yeast. So last night I got that I was to have a tablespoon of it in my supper, because my fingertips have been tingly, and I know that if you're having some numbness in the extremities, because I eat mostly vegan diet, I'm not getting B12, and so I need to. And I don't generally like to take supplements. I like to get it from my food, which is why I went into the health food store. I muscle tested to see which type of yeast my body wants, and I got Angevita yeast, which is the same as the last time I took it. I thought nutritional flakes, but no, my body will not do well on that. You can save yourself a lot of money if you muscle test to see what kind of food your body wants, right? And can use. And do that with supplements too, because if your body really does want supplements, like my body loves spirulina, it loves blueberries and raspberries, and so I will muscle test to see if I actually need that. Same with psyllium husk. I take psyllium husk if I want to clean out my intestinal tract, and psyllium husk is really wonderful. You can buy it, you can even buy it at the bulk barn in bulk. I like to buy mine at the health food store. It's organic, and the thing about psyllium husk, I've read 2 sets of directions for it. Now you can either put psyllium husk in a glass of water, or you can put it in your smoothie and you can drink it right away. But the other directions, and I like these ones better, it says to let it gel. So you put the psyllium husk in water or in your smoothie and you wait till it gels. And I generally wait 30 minutes and it's like jelly, and then I can add a little more water. But it creates like I forget, there's a word for it. It's like suspended, like the husks are suspended in that jelly, and it really cleans out your intestinal tract. If you ever do like a day where you just do a fast with smoothies or whatever, what a wonderful way to clean out what's going on inside your intestines when you add psyllium husk to your smoothie or just a glass of water. Or even if you're juicing on a juice fast, you want to put that in your juice first thing. It'll just clean everything out, and it's wonderful. Because I did want to talk about this. I feel like I have something on my face, like fuzz or some cobweb. Ugh. I wanted to talk about this. So there's a book that someone wrote called Everybody Poops, which is true, except for owls. I think, don't they like regurgitate whatever, the feathers and the bones and all that stuff, like the owl pellets? So you're supposed to poop about 3 times a day. Now I've had people who don't, that as clients and friends and relatives, so that's not normal. So what happens if you're not pooping is it's all stuck in there. You know, when you have people have those big distended bellies and they're really hard, I tell them that's not fat, that's probably mostly poop. Like it's stuff that's stuck in their intestinal tract, and so it has to go somewhere, right? It goes out because it's not coming out where it should. So I tell these people to get some psyllium husk and make sure it gels, and take it on an empty stomach, and it'll help clean that out, because it pushes that stuff out. And if you eat a lot of bread that has gluten is like that glue, and it makes everything kind of sticky inside your intestinal tract. I can see inside people's intestinal tracts, and I had worked on this lady years ago who was diagnosed with diverticulitis, and I could see the pockets of the wheat gluten stuck to her intestinal tract, and it was poochy, and she had a large belly, and she also had iron deficiency, dark circles under her eyes, and she just really didn't look very healthy. I advised her to not eat, refined wheat products, but whether she listened or not, I don't know, because she never came back for another session. But our health is everything to us. If we don't have our health, we're not thriving. And it's actually pretty easy to fix your health. You just have to change how you eat and add, a really good thing for regulating your insulin is fiber, and actually makes you feel really satisfied. And healthy fats get such a bad rap, and it's not true. Like, fats are so important for you. Please read that book, Genius Foods. You will be amazed, because the man who wrote it, he wrote it because his mom was suffering from dementia, and he wanted to know how she could heal. And he found there's lots of research in that book, that it's healthy fats that promote a healthy brain, and healthy fats actually help you burn fat too. They get a bad rap. And if your liver is healthy and you've been cleaning up your body, I heard to say, if you feel you have a toxic liver, try milk thistle it's a herb that you take that helps clean your liver. But please make sure that you muscle test to see if it actually agrees with your body. And I also heard stinging nettle. Stinging nettle is a diuretic, I heard. And here's another thing that's interesting about plants, and I'll be making a video about harvesting plants for the body partial, or it might be mind, body, spirit video. I'll be talking about harvesting plants and the benefits of harvesting your own plants, especially if they grow on your own land. So you know your body best. Someone could tell you, something, and if you feel like it doesn't agree with you, like, always muscle test to see if it's in your best interest to eat the food. And when I look at the food that's being produced, especially by all the restaurants, and that they're not promoting health. And I even know someone who can't even eat a salad in a restaurant because it just makes her go to the bathroom so fast, and number 2 so she can't. And I said, it's probably what they put on the lettuce to clean it, or the greens to clean it, or maybe even to keep it fresh, so it just doesn't agree with her digestive tract. Now, oh yeah, so the last thing I want to say about your body is it's like a dog, and it needs to be walked every day, or it needs some form of exercise every day. So the nice thing, again, in that Genius Foods book, he talks about how you could vary your exercise. Like, you don't have to go to the gym every day. You could go for a walk one day, you could run, you could ride your bike, you could do yoga. Like, there's so many things that you can do, so it's not the same thing. What I like to do sometimes, I'll ride my horse one day, and then I might run. I might do some yoga stretches. I'll go to the gym, I work out. I always do my cardio before. And if you really want to burn fat, you do cardio in the morning, and you do cardio. I did it about 5 hours after I did my weight training, because if you do cardio after, you may end up burning your muscle. So you really have to figure out how your body works. And I was gonna talk about something and I forgot. Okay. So from this video, you should now understand how to muscle test. You should understand how important it is to choose foods that are correct for your body. You can book me for a health reading, because I do those by distance. I could do them in person as well, and those sessions are available on my Facebook page, Karen-Rose, or on my website, www.karen-rose.net. And you will get advice on how to clean up your body, what kind of exercise your body likes. Because like I said, once we have created rapport, like your energy likes to work with my energy, I'm able to see everything. And sometimes I even see it just before I even talk to people, like I did yesterday in the health food store with that lady. And the last time I saw her, her body told me, her energy told me that it really liked apple cider vinegar, but it liked it like the really high-end stuff. And I said, oh, your body is kind of a snob. It really likes the high-end apple cider vinegar. It's got to be in a glass bottle. And then someone like me, I test okay for just the regular apple cider vinegar. It doesn't have to be anything special. I like to think that I'm just down to earth, and I don't really need like amazing things. So, but it's funny because our cells have two energies. One, our genetic lineage, okay? So I'm Ukrainian, and my grandparents came over from the Ukraine. So the Ukraine is known for grain farming, and a lot of Ukrainian meals is like heavy on the wheat, heavy on the potatoes, and I just don't do well on a diet like that. It's like, it's not good for me. But the interesting thing is, I know my energetic lineage has a lot of Asian influence. My highest life that I saw during a past life regression, I was a meditating monk. And so they eat a lean diet, and it's like vegetarian or vegan. And that's what agrees with me. And oh my God, I'm talking about this, I'm getting the tingle of awareness, because I think that's a message for a lot of you who are watching, and you're trying to figure out why your body's not thriving on the prescribed diet that, you know, all these doctors and we have a Canada Food Guide, and oh my God, if I ate all that food, I'd be huge. I just can't eat that much food. Like, my body does better with less food. So you now have tools. You have muscle testing. You know that you can look at what your body thrives on for food. You know you need to read that book, Genius Foods, because you will learn a lot if you haven't read it yet. You just go buy that book. I signed it out from the library to see if I like it. That's what I do with books. But I found that would definitely be a book in my library. So there are a lot of things you can do to reach optimum health. And I tell you, when you find out what your body likes, weight will no longer be an issue for you. If you're too thin or you're too thick, you want to be just right. Now that I finally found the foods that work for my body, I'm not so bent on being obsessed with exercising, because I was so scared. I was the same size for 10 years, and I wasn't skinny. But once I found out how my body likes to exercise, and also the diet, I don't have that panic when I think, oh my God, you know, I ate a cookie or something like that. Weight is not an issue anymore, and I actually really love myself again. I hope that you enjoyed watching this video, and my next one is going to be on spirit, which I think that's my favorite thing. I love talking about spirit. Thank you so much for watching.